played with a very politically active player. And I don't know if you know where I'm going to go with this, but looking at the past rosters, seeing the overlap, Matt Birk was a Minnesota Viking. He, and this is a direct quote, and this is transcribed via the video, I transcribed it, was via Heartland Signal, July 19th, 2022. So if you want to come at me, there's your source. Quote, again, rape is a obviously horrible thing, but an abortion is not gonna, caught himself and then went on, is not gonna heal the wounds of that. Another direct quote from Matt Burke, your former teammate. Well, they say abortion's legal, and it was kind of an easy out for a lot of people who didn't really want to engage. Well, it's legal. You know, a lot of things have been legal before that we've changed, right? I mean, I'm talking to a bunch of pro-life warriors here. Slavery used to be legal, right? That's a direct quote. He brought up Planned Parenthood to Sean Hannity. He also stated, pushing God out of public schools, but letting a small number of businesses and government elites and judges define what marriage is for Minnesotans seem very fair and doesn't make a lot of sense. He said a gay marriage, quote, supporting the basic rights of children and the authentic rights of people with same-sex attraction are not mutually exclusive, and we must resist the forces that are telling us otherwise. That was transcribed via the Huffington Post, February 2nd, 2016. Former teammate of yours, did he speak out like this in the locker room, and did you have to check him if he did?
No, Matt Birk was not that crazy when we played together. We actually spent a significant amount of time each day together doing the crossword puzzle. So like it would be during our lunch break. It would be me, Burke, Steve Hutchinson, and then usually a couple other of the O linemen, John Sullivan, and then I think like one or two other guys. And we do the New York Times crossword puzzle like during lunch, just to keep ourselves occupied. And yeah, like it was. He seemed like a normal person. The Matt Birk of today really seems like he's bought into the propaganda. And I wish the Matt Birk of today understood that the First Amendment guarantees both your freedom to practice your religion, but it also guarantees other people's freedom from your religion. You can't force your religion on someone else. That is explicitly what the First Amendment was also designed for.
If you were to see him today, Chris, what would you say to him?
What the fuck, man? like, and in all seriousness, I would say, do you understand that by trying to force your views on someone else, you are trying to take away their freedom? And I know he's not going to understand it, because if he understood it, he wouldn't be taking the position that he's taking. And the thing that, like, I've tried talking with, I actually tried talking with like a really religious person at the most recent press conference that our city council did, complaining that the ACLU was suing the city for banning books. On a side note, Gracie Vandermark got the crowd to start chanting pedophile at the people who were defending the library, so they got that going for them. But I was talking with this woman who was obviously very religious, and I'm like, I fully support your right to, raise your kids however you want to raise them, as long as you're not harming them, right? Like, whatever you want to teach them, however you want to be a parent, that is your right to do so. However, I have the same right. And if I want my kids to have access to challenging books or to books that have LGBTQ content, I deserve the right to allow them to have that access, because that's how I'm going to parent them. If you don't want your kids to have access to LGBTQ books, don't let them go to the library and read the books, or keep an eye on them when you're at the library. Be a parent.
Right. It feels very controlling.
Oh yeah, very much. And the way I look at it is, this is a movement of people that don't view children as human beings. They view children as objects to be controlled. And it's a really corrosive mindset, because eventually your kid is going to grow up, because they are a human being and they are going to make their own choices. And that's why you hear all these horror stories of, kids who grew up in strictly religious households realize that they're gay or transgender, and then their families shut them out. It's like, how can you do that to your own kid? Like, you're in my opinion, you are an absolute failure of a parent if you do that to your own kid.
I agree. One thing that, and I just remember when my wife got pregnant, and there were so many people who were asking, do you want a boy or girl? And all I could think of, and I answered every single time, is a healthy kid. And
Mm-hmm.
however my daughter decides to grow up, I really don't give a fuck. Like
Right.
I just don't care. Like, are they healthy? Are they happy? Are they getting the most out of life? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that deep. Like I think with the
Right.
way being a parent has given me a new perspective, of course, but I just don't know why. I think controlling is a great word that you use. I don't know why so many people want to control their kids in a certain way. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, and again, it comes with viewing your children as an object instead of as a human being. And like kids are a lot smarter than a lot of adults give them credit for.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
they pay attention to what's going on. Like they learn and grasp things very quickly. And if you raise them in a culture of hate, well, a lot of kids are going to pick that up. And then the ones who feel hated by that, they're not going to feel comfortable in that culture. And it's like, why would you raise your kid to feel uncomfortable about who they are? Just give them the tools they need to succeed, give them the tools to make their own decisions, and then trust them that if they have questions, they'll come back and ask you.
Exactly.